everybody. I really appreciate it. Gators? Always warm up the crowd, right? That's a good way to start. All right, so first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. I know some of you came from long distances. I know in my family, we have a contingent from New York City, and we're from Florida, and we got Tennessee. Where else we got people from? Michigan. Michigan. I really appreciate you coming to help us celebrate my daughter and my new son-in-law, Garrett. So before I start, I do want to remember some folks in our family that can't be here. I'm Renee's dad, and on our side, I have two men that would have really loved to be here, but just were not able to travel. Renee, your Uncle Melvin in New York City, but he's probably going to be watching the Mets in the World Series, so that he's here. And your Uncle Stanley in Los Angeles. They were just not healthy enough to travel, and I know they would have liked to have been here. And also, personally, my mom and dad are not here, and Renee, they would have been the two proudest people here. They would have been very proud to see you. And then on your mom's side of the family, on Beverly's side of the family, we had two losses this year. Would have loved to have been here, Tanty Marjorie and Granny. And Granny made it to 99, and she would have been here dancing with all of us. And then, I don't want to make everyone really sad, but it's probably the biggest loss in our family. At my wedding 29 years ago, we had a flower girl. Her name was Katana, and she was 3 at the time. I might get, and 6 years later she passed away, and she would have been here too. And Beverly and I loved her like a daughter. But it just goes to show you that life is joyous and life is real. Things happen. I've been married, my lovely wife Beverly. Me. So I say I've been married. Actually, it's a joint accomplishment. We've been married over 29 years. And many of you were here to help us celebrate. Not here, but there to help us celebrate. We really appreciate that. That was a great party too. So after 29 years, I feel somewhat qualified to give Renee and Garrett a little advice on how to have a happy marriage. And I mean that. I'm actually going to give you the secret to a happy marriage, to a long-lasting marriage, but to a solid marriage. I'm actually going to share that with you, and I'm going to share it with everybody. But also, before I do that too, I forgot. I want to thank Steve and Ashley, wherever you are. Yeah, you guys have taken Renee into your hearts and into your family, and that makes us feel so wonderful. And the last few days, just hanging around with you and the uncles and the aunts and the uncles and the aunts and the uncles and the aunts, it's a great family, and we're so proud to have you as part of our family. So before I give you the secret, and I'm serious, I'm going to give you the secret to a happy marriage. Before I give you that secret, I want to tell you a little bit about Renee, okay? I could tell you lots of stories, but when Renee, I think I remember about 9, 10, 11, she and Beverly used to sit and they used to cut magazines. They used to sit, and I would just be watching the game, so I don't really pay attention to what they're doing. But they would open these magazines, and it was their thing, and they would spend hours and days and weeks and months just looking at magazines and showing each other pictures and cutting things out. I didn't know what they were doing. And then one day, I walked upstairs into Renee's room, and I saw 3 giant posters on the wall. And Renee had taken all those cutouts, and she had created posters, and they said things like, wow, amazing, trendy, hip, fashionable, right? Awesome, incredible, powerful. And she never had an issue with self-esteem. Do you remember those posters, Renee? No, you just totally forgot about that, huh? Yeah, well, I want to add one word, okay? I want to add a word that Renee is a very special person. And I saw this when she was very young. I saw her, she was maybe 3 years old. I could tell you so many stories, but you see the special quality that she has. You see it in her soul. You see her persistence, her wisdom, her intelligence. At 3 years old, to be able to understand adult situations and have that kind of a sense of humor and really teach me lessons about persistence and creativity, and you see it in her artwork, and she's not just an artist, she's an athlete, she's an artist, she's just, for those of you, her friends, you know that she's very talented. Once she gets something in her mind, she finishes it, okay? So I'll tell you a story. 3 years old, And she was sitting there, again, you know, coloring and cutting things with scissors and tape and everything. And every once in a while, you know, she'd say, "Mommy, where's the orange crayon?" You know, and so I didn't know what she was doing. Again, I was watching the game. It's kind of a theme, right? But what she did after maybe, I think it was 5 or 6 hours, she said, "Daddy, look what I made." And she was 3, couldn't have been more than 4 years old. She didn't draw a carousel. She actually had made a carousel, 3-dimensional, with the tape and rolling the paper and drawing the zebra and the horse and the elephant. And I looked at this and I said, I'm honored. You know, it's truly an honor to know someone who's just such an advanced soul, who's so wise and so creative and so loving. And so it's really, really nice, Renee, to see you so happy today. And you guys, and Garrett and Renee, I want to tell you, you really have the start of a great marriage. You have a few things. Number one is you're in love with each other. Number 2 is you really do love each other. Not just in love, but you love each other. Number 3, you're best friends. And number 4, this is really important, you bring out the best in each other. Garrett, you bring out a wonderful side of Renee, and Renee, based on all the stories that you told us, apparently Renee brings out a really good side of Garrett. And it's really wonderful. Marriage is a real opportunity to have that blessing in life, to be able to have a soulmate like that. But I have to tell you, okay, life is real, and it's not always going to be easy, and there are going to be difficult days, and there are going to be difficult weeks, there are going to be difficult months. If those folks of you who are married, you know, there may even be difficult years. And that brings me around to tell you the secret to a happy marriage, okay? And that secret is 2 words: be thoughtful. Be kind to one another. Be generous. Make each other smile. Compliment one another. And if you do that just once a day, you're way ahead of the game. If you do it 5 and 10 times a day, you're way ahead of the game. And if you make it a way of life, that just think about it. When you're stressed, if you think the stress of the last few days, weeks, and months of your wedding, you know, just wait. Life holds a lot of stress for you guys. And if you can just be thoughtful, and I learned this from my wife and her family, where I realized that the true measure of happiness is not money, it's not what vacations, it's not what cars you drive, it's if you're thoughtful to the other person. And if you are just thoughtful to the other person, I guarantee you can get through whatever life brings you, okay? So I'm going to do a big reveal, okay? I'm Jewish, and I'm going to ask you to join me in a traditional Jewish toast, okay? But the louder we do it, the bigger the blessing. Okay, the louder we do it, the bigger the blessing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to repeat after me, and we're going to raise your glass, and I want everyone to stand up too, so you can do it louder, okay? The louder you do this toast, the more the blessing. Traditional Jewish toast, okay? I want you to repeat after me, okay? To Renee and Garrett. To Renee and Garrett. Mazel tov!